Faust has such a fascinating history.
Mm-hmm.
It has been in the top 20 in terms of popularity for 150 years. Yep. The opera was first performed in 1859,
yep.
and for a long time, probably the first century of its existence, it dominated the charts and was at the very, very top, and then was, eventually displaced by, later works like Madame Butterfly,
yep.
Tosca, La Bohème,
yep.
and so forth. But to what do you attribute its long-term popularity, and how do you rate that popularity today?
We all recognize this somewhere, this Faustian pact that we all have to make somewhere. We have to make a choice between what we possibly think is the correct way of doing it and balance it with things that we want.
I suppose in a way all of us have gone through this thought process and have said to ourselves, oh, I would give anything if I could be younger, if I could have a different body, if I could look different, if I could be have a different economic situation. I don't think we go so far as to say we'd make a pact with the devil in order to regain those things, but I think it does resonate, and to me it's a very 21st century story.
Yeah.
Could you talk a little bit about your approach in terms of the period, the design concept, the context for the production, and what you're creating?
What we've tried to do is give it a late 19th century context, but also to give it a certain satirical edge, which was very much part of the opera comique tradition. It wasn't the
right.
Yeah. So we wanted, and to add to that, we wanted a world that was the audience would view differently to Faust. Faust would see the world literally. The audience would see it with a certain amount of cynicism. It would see it as illusory.
Mephistopheles in your production, he takes many different guises, and he keeps popping up in each scene as a slightly different figure, but you can always recognize him as being Mephistopheles, the devil.
Yeah.
I find that quite fascinating in your production.
Yeah, he's the devil's all things to all men. He's whatever you want him to be or need him to be, I think, and that's what we tried to achieve. So his basic guise, I would guess, is that of a sort of undertaker, but he becomes a doctor, a surgeon, if you like, performing plastic surgery on Faust and making him young. He becomes a circus showman. He becomes a soldier. He becomes a priest. So he morphs into all these different characters. So you can never quite grasp him.
The score of Faust is one of the most beautiful operatic scores in existence. Listening to the opera, it's one great tune after another.
Yep.
And it's really hard to come up with a favorite moment for me. As someone who discovered opera and fell in love with it when I was 9 years old, I've been trying to think about how this would be for young audiences. And I personally believe that Faust is a perfect opera for young people, and absolutely fascinating. Yes, it's a rather long opera, not overly long in my view, but we're hopeful of actually encouraging people to bring their families to see the opera, because number one, this wonderful kind of treasure trove of melody that we find in Faust, but because it is such a fascinating story. And I'm curious if you share that view. Obviously, you do.
Yeah, I hope that what we've done with the presentation is the way we've approached it, is that there's enough going on that's, don't want to say spectacular, to keep a young person's attention with it as well. But I think it is the perfect opera to it's great music, it's great story, as you say. I think it's perfect opera for children, really.
We wish you very, very
Thank
well
you.
with your production of Faust and cannot wait to see it on our stage. And I know that our audiences will delight in not only the music, but your staging and your conception of this great opera.
Thank you, Charles. I hope they do too. Thank you.